very much. We're gonna kick off the press conference now, and I'd like to welcome the coach, Coach Owen Dagama from Highlands Park, who has joined us here. Coach, without wasting any further time, I'll just start with the obvious question. Obviously, I think this is your second cup final, first one with Highlands Park, the third one. Sorry. Yeah, first one with Highlands Park, and it's the MTN8, the first one of the season. Just your thoughts leading up to the final.
Yeah, first and foremost, good afternoon to everybody here. Thank you very much for having me, and it's really a pleasure and an honor for me to be here at this press conference. Firstly, I'd like to say on behalf of the players, Highlands Park management, that we are really thrilled and really thrilled and excited to be in this cup final. For us, it's been a memorable journey so far. It's been a fairy tale story for us. Doing well in the NFD, smashing these records, coming into the PSL first season, 7th on the log, into the top 8, and then again straight into the final. So we are really thrilled. We are really thrilled. Just getting into this final for us has gone down into our history books as something that's very special. But I must say, the management has been exceptional with regards to their support. The players have worked tremendously hard, and I think they should get most of the credit. Not to forget our loyal supporters, not fans, supporters. I think they've been exceptional. They've been the 12th men on the pitch for us, or alongside the pitch for us, and that has really helped us and motivated us to really push as hard as we can.
Right, thank you very much, Coach. Let's now take questions from the floor. Okay, maybe let's start with Vuyo.
Coach, congratulations for reaching the final. I mean, I'm thinking in the team this week leading up to the final, you would need brains that have reached such a level in tournaments. Your Ndoros, especially Letsulinyane as well, coming into the team. I mean, how much of their role has assisted you in building the team up for the final this weekend?
You know, these are players, as you rightfully say, with BMT, with big match temperament. The Ndoros, the Letsulinyanes, they really assisted big time. You know, when we do our analysis, when we do our planning, they are an integral part of this. They add so much value, and also it rubs off onto the younger the younger players or the less experienced players. They motivate them, and they put them on a level that they've never been before. So they are very important and integral to what we've achieved so far.
Okay, let's move on to Tempo, ENCA.
Coach, you're playing against SuperSport United. Obviously, we know a team that has a rich cup pedigree. In the last 3 seasons, I think they went into the MTN8 final. How are you going to make sure that your players that do not have, most of them don't have the experience of playing in a cup final? You know the story. I mean, some players can freeze on the day. How are you going to make sure that they don't get overwhelmed by the occasion?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. We have been working on them mentally. You know, after qualifying for the final, you know, everybody thought, you know, their minds would be focused on the final, but we managed to keep grounded, to keep very humble, and we went on and won our last 2 games. You know, after that we won against Baroka and we won against Polokwane. So that just shows that they have matured, they have learned, and they've grown. And as you know, some of the other players have helped as well. So I think we've got a little bit of experience to understand that we have to keep them grounded, and they've got to go out into this final and go and enjoy themselves. There's no pressure on them. They've got to go and enjoy themselves. That's the most important thing for us. They deserve it. They've worked hard to get there, and they must just let loose and go and enjoy themselves.
Moving on, are you okay? All right. Move on to Temba.
Temba Shawala, Joseph from Sports. Coach, you have, just to add to what was asked about players like Yeye, you've got him, he comes from Super Sport and he left them unhappy after what happened, and you took I would say, a gamble and signed him, brought him onto the team. Surely you're getting a lot of insight from him. How helpful is it that you're looking at him and just making sure that the young players that you have, he takes them through the whole process of playing a final, especially against a team that he knows that's playing with the youth, and you playing with the youth as well, speedy players on both sides. It must be a good build-up to a final. But just take us through him, the role that he's got going into this final and generally on the team. Just a quick one. You drove into the stadium. One of you is going to drive out MTN8 on Saturday. Who is it?
Okay. To start off with with the first part of the question, I think Ye has been. I don't know how he left Supersport, but what we know, he's a very humble boy. He's such a good human being, good nature. You can see this boy has been brought up very well, very, very experienced, but as I say, humble. And yes, look, we have played twice against Supersport last season, in our first year, and it's more or less the same team, apart from Gabuza that has come in. It's more or less the same team. So our analysts have done a fantastic job in trying to analyze them and to understand better where their strengths lie and where their weaknesses lie. And I'm sure Supersport have done the same with us, but also with the insight from Yaya. I mean, he's got a little bit, he knows a little bit more about Supersport than us from the inside, but it's mainly from a tactical perspective that he's helped us a lot. But the bulk of it comes from the analysts. You know, we spend a lot of time trying to understand how teams play. And as I say, it's not the first time that we're playing against Supersport.
Okay, moving on. Let's start at the back. Golden News.
Coach, my name is Nick.
Oh, sorry.
Just to finish on the other one, I think, you know, I said it and I've always said that someone's name is on that cup. And what's meant to be is meant to be. It's as simple as that. If it's Supersport, it's Supersport. If it's Highlands Park, it's Highlands Park. We don't go around going to find out who's going to win. We pray to God, and we pray hard, and we work hard, and as I say, what's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's a final. I mean, it's a cup game, anything can happen.
Okay, Nee.
Right. Coach, I've watched you several times sitting on the bench. I've never seen you sporting a Colgate cavity-free smile. Now, this is a big day. Right? Are you going to be serious, or are you going to see you sporting a good smile, Colgate-free smile? Because it's a big day.
I think, thank you for that. I think it will help me to start smiling more on the bench. But the pressure is enormous on the bench. You know, no matter how much experience you have, the pressure is enormous on the bench. And you know, you work tirelessly with the rest of the technical team, and you work hard, and you hope that what you've done in practice during the week comes into fruition on the day of the game. And sometimes it doesn't help, but you know, it's always a two-sided thing. So for me, it's not that I don't want to smile, but it's more that I'm really focused. I'm trying to pick up as much as I can and see how we can get past the opposition. But I'll keep that in mind. I'll try and smile more.
Right, let's go to Sazi, Jabulo, and then Bali.
Coach Sazi from Tiso. Coach, 8 million is at stake on Saturday for the winner. Have you had any discussion around that with the management in terms of how much you're going to get and the players?
Yeah, look, I don't know how much I'm going to get. But what I do know is what the players, half of it is going to the players. It's as simple as that. Half of it, the Brad Captain has already told me that I've got to tell the players that half of it is going to the players. And I think they deserve it. They really deserve it. Mine, we'll see. I don't know what it's going to be.
All right, Njabulo, Bali, Mahlati, and then Mini.
Juggling it from your friend. Coach, you've been through a lot since the last cup you've won. I mean, the stuff that was said at Platinum, how you left stuff, like what kept you going through all of that? And on a personal note, like what does this final mean when you look at where you took this team and how you got into this team?
Yeah, look, I think everybody goes through trials and tribulations. Sometimes there are so many negative things and wrong things, and it's so unfair towards coaches when there's bad, wrong publicity, which is not untrue. It's so unfair, you know. But I'm a man of God, and I put God first in everything I do. So I pray hard, and I just try and do the right thing all the time. So my answer to that is whatever problems I face, I put God in front of me, and He certainly sorts them out in His way, in the best way that He can.
The meaning of this, looking at what you took over the team.
Sorry?
And what being in the final meant for you personally, looking at what you took over the team.
Yeah, look, for me, it's I'm really I'm really excited to be in the final. It's the coach's dream to reach a final. To win it, it's even better. But it's another feather in my cap. But I still believe that this is for the players. They must get more credit than what we should get. They go onto that field and they sweat, their blood out. So it's good for me, but I'm more happy for the players.
All right, we're wrapping up now. We'll come back to you, Mahlati. You can hold on to the microphone. Bali, coach.
Bali Shoko from KFM. Coach, with history beckoning at the iconic Orlando Stadium, how do you then make sure that anxiety and the mind wandering off keeps away from your players? I mean, you say you're able to maintain that for the last 2 weeks. How do you then make sure that in the next 48 hours your players are switched on? It's never easy. And also, do you think we do enough as journalists to write about black people's football history? As much as every now and then you'll find a cricketer, a rugby player writing a book.
I think the first question, very, very good question, a very pertinent question. We obviously the underdogs, there's no doubt about it. SuperSport have been there three years, consecutively, and we haven't been there. Our players have not experienced that, apart from one or two other players like Yeye and Doro. So yes, it is maybe, that's why we're the underdogs. But for me, the most important thing is the journey. We are building a team, and hopefully in 3-4 years' time, we'll have a team that can compete healthy in all the competitions. So for us, it's just another step for these boys to get experience, to learn, to grow, to be able to say, I've played in a cup final. So that for me, it's the bigger picture. Winning a cup is good, but the experience that they're going to get and how they're going to grow after this, nobody will be able to take this away from them. It's something that they will be able to build on and grow. And I think it will also help Highlands Park as a team to just go to another level and keep growing.
All right, Mahlati, and then Mini.
Coach,
Yeah.
will you be tempted to play Yeye, or he's definitely out of this match?
No, he is part of the squad. But obviously, I cannot say, at this stage. I think we've got to keep our cards as close as possible to our chest. We cannot say whether he'll start, he'll play, but he's definitely part of the team.
Minenhle from channel 405.
Good TV.
Good boy. Now we are pushing it.
Just making sure, guys. Coach, you just said to Buddy's question for you is the bigger picture of building a team for the next 4 years. What similarities can you draw from your days at Silver Stars? You know, it's kind of the same picture. You found a team that was very much in trouble. You've been able to build it. Is it the same warmth that you feel when you were back at Silver Stars, and what similarities can you draw from that time and what's actually unfolding now?
Yeah, I think I was waiting for that one. Yeah, look, with Silver Stars also got promoted first season in the league. We went to the Coca-Cola Cup final, and then we ended I think 9th on the log, and then we ended 5th on the log, and then we ended 2nd on the log, and we won the Telkom Cup when we ended 2nd on the log. So yes, it's all part of a process. That's why I'm not supposed to be talking on behalf of other coaches, but please guys, you know, getting a team right, it's a process. Let's allow our coaches to go through that process. It's not an overnight thing. I always believe that every fly-by-night thing is short-lived, but anything that grows gradually, though, that's where the longevity comes in, and that's where you build a quality team. So for us, it's all about the longevity. It's all about the long haul. We really want to add value to the PSL, to South African football, and the only way we can do that, it's not to be fly-by-nights, but to make sure that we grow gradually and slowly, and we try and just do better and better each and every year. So we are in the long haul for that, and it's exactly the same thing that happened with Silver Stars. First year final, okay, in this case it's the second season, but it's a first year that we qualified for it. But first year final, then we just grew as a team, produced a lot of players that went on to play for bigger teams, the Surprise Moriris, the Koketso Motongs, you know, there's so many that you can talk of, that we were able to produce through Silver Stars, and they went on to bigger clubs. But in that same space, the club just got better and better and ended up second and won the Telkom Cup. So yes, there's a lot of similarities, but the path and the thinking is more or less the same. I don't believe we are good enough at this stage to compete for all the cups in the PSL. We're very fortunate to get to the final. It's a shorter cup, it's a shorter run, less games, but I think we're not yet ready for the other cups. We will give it a good shot, but it's all about a process. Maybe next year we'll be a little bit better. The following year we could start challenging for 2 more, you know. But I think we are under no illusions where we are, where we want to be, and where we want to go. So it's all about the long haul for us.
Okay, we'll take the last 2 questions. I'm gonna try to give people who haven't asked of you. So let's start with Karabo, and there was another hand, Happy.
Demasiado, coach.
Demasiado good.
Sure. Coach, well, obviously, other coaches have always said some things don't reveal everything. And in terms of you not revealing too much, but Ryan Ray, in terms of his throw-ins, is that also a point that you work on in regard to this final? And secondly, just driving into the training sessions with some of the players and seeing their faces, how's the mood in camp? Are some of the players nervous? Are they scared? Are they ready? Do they want to really show their all in terms of this cup final that obviously it's going to be amazing, but just the camping, the mood in camp rather of the players and everyone surrounded and connected to the club?
Yeah, firstly, yes, look, we've got to try and utilize every player's strengths. And Ryan Ray has got a very special talent, and we will obviously, it has helped us. We've scored a couple of goals from his long throws. So yes, we'll try that, but it's all about the collective, There are other players with other strengths. There's the Mbatas, there's the Shaluliles, there's the Valas. There are other players with their strengths as well. So yes, we try and capitalize on all the players' strengths. With regards to the mood in the camp, very funny. The guys are just normal. It's very, they're just normal. Nobody's talking about the final. Nobody's asking questions about. It's just normal at training, and First of all, we're a God-fearing team. So, you know, we pray before training, we pray after training. So I think that has brought a bit of calmness to the team to understand that we've got to do what we can do, but it's all in the hands of the Almighty. So I think there's a very calm atmosphere within the team, very subdued, nothing different to last week and the week before. Maybe we'll see some changes this afternoon in their training, we don't know, but so far the guys have been pretty normal. I mean, we've learned so much from 2010. I was very fortunate to be able to get into the Spanish national team's camp, and it's all about emotional intelligence, you know. When they win, they don't over-celebrate. When they lose, they don't kill themselves. It's all about that balance, you know. When you win, yes, take credit, but there's still another game. There's still games beyond tomorrow. There's still games beyond games. So it's all about balancing your emotional perception towards the game. You can't get into, it just happened so many times that teams, it happened with us in our very first season. We went to the Coca-Cola Cup final with Kaizer Chiefs, and they beat us 2-0. And we lost the next 4 games after that. So, you know, the players were so excited about the final that they lost focus on everything else beyond that. And we've seen that happening with a lot of teams that win a cup and suddenly there's a big slump. So with us, we're trying to balance that emotional intelligence to make sure that, yes, if we win, good, we celebrate Sunday, that's it. You know, we're back to work, because it's all about what happens after, you know, the cup.
Last question, Happy.
Good afternoon, Happy from Ezra News. I'd like to know if there is any injuries in the team.
Yeah, look, I think there are injuries in the team, but once again, you know, you learn from guys like Jurgen Klopp, who went to the semi-finals of the Champions League. He didn't have Sadio Mane, he didn't have Salah, he didn't have Firmino, and he never even said anything about it. He never said anything about it. He went into that semi-final and he won it. So, yes, we do have injuries. We do have players, important players that are injured. But I believe so do SuperSport, so do Chiefs, so do a lot of other teams. So it happens. For me, it's just an opportunity for another player to get an opportunity to showcase. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If you're injured and you can't play, it gives another player an opportunity. So it's all part of the building process. You know, we wouldn't get a player and put 20 bandages around his knee just for him to play. If it's not meant to be, it's an opportunity for another player. He might be the man of the match. So we try and encourage everybody that if you get the opportunity, grab it with both hands.
So you're keeping your cards close to your chest.
Very, very close.
Right. Thank you very much. I think we'll end this first half of this press conference here. Thank you very much, Coach, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Coach, maybe you can just get your thoughts into the final, you know, as well as how your preparations have gone so far.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think in terms of our preparations have been going well. I think we came off a very good result against Amazon, which gave us a little bit of confidence and also less pressure in terms of us preparing for this game. And at the moment, we only have, you know, one concern in terms of injuries. There was Gampani Lungu got injured against Amazulu, but other than that, I think everyone is available for selection on Saturday. So we're looking forward to the game. We know it's once off, it's a cup final, so we need to try and be ready and be prepared for the game.
And this is the third in a row for SuperSport United, and your second one in a row.
Yeah, I think for us, what's key is always about the team, and we try and respect, you know, whoever we play. And I think we always take the same attitude, you know, and us being in the final, you know, 3 times in a row, it's it's very important, but at the same time, I think we've won it once and we've lost it last season. So we would want, to try and correct that and try and win it again, and this gives us a perfect opportunity to do that.
Right, thank you, Coach. Let's now take questions from the floor. We will start with Temba Shabala.
Actually, this was a question that was supposed to go to ODG, but I think I'll pass it on to you. They've got Ryan Ray, the white glove man, the throw-in specialist. Is there any special treatment that you have for him? Now that we've seen him throwing all these balls, even in their last game, they got a goal out of it. Wembala just kept it in. That should be a concern for you. And just on the latter note, Coach Peter says, I will never sign a player for throw-ins. What happens if there are no throw-ins? What do you make of such a statement?
Well, look, I think I think we know each other in this league. We know each other's strength, each other's weaknesses. I think the main thing is to try and find solutions, to those issues. And everyone is aware. It's not a secret that they've got someone who's very good to the long throw-ins, someone who's also good at set plays like Mbala. And it's up to us to try and find, solutions to deal with that. And we will come up with a plan like we normally do. We normally plan, for all our set plays, whether there is a long throw. We plan for that. And I hope it works as well for us. It has been working for us, so we hope just that we will be able to find a solution to that. Coming into what Coach Peter said, I think it depends with the way he wants to play, what he can afford as well, because it also comes up to that. If you look at the world over, the most expensive, centre backs, let's say Van Dijk and Maguire, what is their strength? The strength is set plays. That's why they are the most expensive, centre backs in the world, because that's their strength. They can hit the ball, they can defend, and so it depends what you have, what you can afford. And Coach ODG at Darlings Park has found, something he can use, to hit other teams, and I think he's done well with that. So you've got to try and complement that, but it's always up to us to find a solution to that.
Okay, Dumi.
Coach, that consecutive final that you just mentioned now, but 11th final for Super Squad in 9 seasons, reach cup pedigree. I guess a side that's going up for the first time. What do you tell your players? How do you guard them against complacency and just, not to get carried away thinking, okay, the underdogs, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. How do you get them to stay grounded, to say, you know what, you've been there, you've won cups, but this team can equally do the job, get the job done on the day as well?
Well, I think the first thing is for us to give them respect that they got into the final. That's the first thing, which means they're a very good team. And the team, if you look at them, the team which has been doing well, since last season, got into the top 8 as well, when no one gave them, that opportunity. So a team which is always improving, and the players are well aware of that. And at some point, I think for us, we were in the same situation where it was in 2004 when we got our first, win in this tournament. It was, a different name during that time. So we were in the same situation as well. So we are well aware that a very good team, a hard-working team, and it's not going to be an easy game for us. We will need to really pitch and match them, pound for pound, for us to really get a good result.
Okay, let's move on to Mr. Sfiso Ramara and then Tepo Tobani.
Yeah, Coach, I'm here. Is winning the MTN8 one of the mandates from the management of the club?
Well, for me, I don't really focus on that. I focus on the day-to-day, I think, in the progression, in terms of the team. Because as a coach, I believe in building. And if you look at our team from last season, there is a bit of an improvement in terms of where we want to go. We've lost quite a number of, experienced players. And, but at the same time, we brought in young players who can still give us another 5 years, playing regularly for the team. So that's what I really believe in. And sometimes you can even win a trophy, but you still get fired. So I don't really want to focus on that because I've seen it happening all these years. Now I want to try and do a good job. Even if I leave today, I want to be proud of the guys and still know that I've left, a very good team, which can still, do well and win, things and win trophies. For me, that's very key for me.
Okay, Coach, the factor, the fact that he was with you, especially in the past 2 seasons where he played in the cup finals of the MTN8. You spoke to him during the week. He jokingly said, if needs be, he would be available to be some sort of a spy to give Highlands Park some info in terms of how SuperSport, and especially your tactics, aren't you scared about that? 2, the fact that SuperSport United this season, looking at the depth, the quality of the players that you guys have, will it be premature to expect SuperSport to win trophies this season?
Well, I think with the Yeye, I think we all know someone I do respect. I think he's also helped in terms of guiding some of the youngsters who are playing now, regularly, like Sipombole, Tebza, Jamie Weber. He played a role as well as a senior player, in terms of guiding them. And obviously he knows, he knows us. But like I say, what matters is what happens on the day. It's about performance on the day. That's very key. We can plan for each other, but if we don't go and perform on the day, you've got no chance. So for me, I focus more on the performance on the day. That's very key. And whoever wants it more on the day, I think will get an opportunity to win it. And looking at us, what was the second question? Sorry.
Like the players who've got like a strong squad this time around, will it be fair to expect you guys to expect trophies this season?
Well, a team like SuperSport, we are expected to, whether you're building, but you're expected to win trophies. And that's the pressure we always get, because we're expected to do well. We've always, for the past 19 years, the club has been in the top 8, never been outside the top 8. So we have a strong team because we've got players now, young players who are coming through, who've got hunger and desire to succeed. Players who want to play week in, week out. Players who know that they still have 10 years, to still play football, not to be relaxed because we've had 1-2 games. Players who are consistent in terms of their performances. We've got the right attitude towards training, right attitude towards matches. And that gives us an opportunity to get into finals and to win trophies if you have young players like that. And we have quite a few of youngsters who are really pushing to play. And we also have the spine like Ronwen, Dean Bradley, those are Bafana players, Clayton Daniels. The spine to help the youngsters also, to take some of the pressure off the youngsters. And I think we've got a very good chance of doing well this season.
Okay, moving along. Let's go to Minentle from channel 405 on the DSTV bouquet. News from Africa.
Next time I'm just going to write again.
Yeah, please.
We have to do that. Coach, earlier in the week, Bradley talked about you being through the cycles. You've been assisting so many coaches along the line, and you've been able to craft your own philosophy. Would you say with the work that's being done in the short term, well, we're not ever satisfied, but are you happy with what you see? And he said that specifically there's a smile on the players' faces now. They're starting to enjoy their football. Those kind of words from your players. How much does it, motivate you to, even work harder?
Well, it does. It does, motivate me, because I think when you have your own philosophy, you put out a structure, you get satisfied when the players start owning it, and I think that's what is starting to happen. To us as a club, the players are still starting to own, my philosophy, and they can run with it, sometimes even if when I'm not there, because that's very key. Whether we have a structure with principles, and within those, principles, you are also allowed to be creative, within the structure, and the players are doing that, and that's why they're starting to enjoy it, and we can always tweak here and there, and they give me direction, because you create a structure, with the players which you have, in terms of what kind of players which you have, and we've tried to do that, and we just hope that we get better and better.
Okay, moving along. Okay, let's come back to Jabulo. Maybe before that, coach, just before you walked in, it was announced, but obviously it was communicated to the clubs earlier about the 25,000 rands for each goal scored, as well as the increase in the man of the match prize. I'm guessing that you were already aware of that. There were quite a few, in the media were saying maybe the players will be a little bit selfish, but I think at SuperSport United, you already have a plan for that.
Before it was 8,000, it's still a lot of money. So I don't think there's going to be any issues. It's good that players get rewarded for their efforts, and we applaud that. At the same time, I think as a team, we always preach unity, and I think it's very key that our players do understand that we win together, and we lose together. And I think as a team, each achieves more. If we win as a team, that's why we end up coming up, getting 25,000 as individuals. But it only happens when we win the tournament. That's very key for us.
All right, thank you very much for that, Coach. Jabulo?
Coach, the fact that the team has been to 3 it kind of shows how good starters you are. But in terms of the finishing, that hasn't been matched. That isn't the case. What is it that you're working on this season to ensure that a good start is matched by also a good finish?
Yeah, I think the last season as well, I think we had a very good start. And we were not really prepared, because we lost our most influential players during that time. I think it was in the final where we lost our three, 4 players. Bradley got injured, Tim got injured, Evans as well got injured. So it was a huge setback, because the only cover which we had was, some of the youngsters who are now, playing now, starting now. So we were a little bit prepared. That's why we brought in players like Kalinge, brought in Mahachi, because we know it's going to be a very long season. I think those players will play a huge role as well. Still adapting slowly to our way of doing things, and they're getting there. I think we have a little bit of depth in terms of quality.
All right, we're wrapping up now. Let's go to Tolagele.
Coach, we heard from Owen Dagama how his players will be getting 4 million of that 8 million prize money. Have you guys made a decision how that money will be divided among the squad?
Nah, not necessarily. I think we're not really talking about money. We really focused about playing well and winning the tournament. You know, we speak about the money. You know, after the game, if we win it, that's very key. All we want to try and win the tournament. Money will come later on.
Okay, let's go to Bandile. I'm trying to get new hands. Some of you have already. No, he asked in the first press conference. That's why I'm trying to give people who haven't asked any questions. Bandile. There should be a button there. If it's green, it means it's on. Okay, go ahead, Bandile. You can go ahead.
Coach, just to deviate a bit from the agenda, you've got an exciting prospect within your disposal at the moment by the name of Sipho Mbule. I just wanted to find out from you, how will you make sure that he keeps up with his reach form? Because as you know that in football knowledge, it's a common football knowledge that consistency separates good players from average players, and confidence separates good players from great players. And by the look of things, Sipho's got the two. He's got confidence and there's consistency. So how would you make sure that he keeps up with his reach form? And do you think by any chance he could walk away with player of the season by the end of the season?
Well, I think with Sipho, he's been in our structure for the past 3 seasons. And I think he's maturing each and every season. I still repeat, I think when we played in the Confederations Cup, final first leg against Mazembe, he scored a goal. And back then, he wasn't really consistent. He was very young, still very young, even now. So we try and, make him work, a little bit harder and realize that each and every game has its own set challenges. Now it's even worse because people know him, teams know him, they also plan around him. So he always has to adapt his game and, make sure that he's always way ahead. So there's no doubt about his quality. He's got unbelievable talent, but he's got to keep on developing that good work ethic and be consistent. And also it comes in the way of he needs to change. So it also involves in the way he lives his life now. If you were sleeping at 10 or 12, now he's got to sleep a little bit early. So those are the things which he has to start learning. But we help them, in those areas. And he also has got a friend who's also disciplined at Wokomkwena, so they help each other. That's very key. But he's a young boy who's got a very good head, above his shoulders. He listens. He's prepared to work. That's so. I've got no doubt that he still has a lot to offer.
Okay.
Yeah. Player of the season is only 5 games. Still a lot of games. It is possible, but he has to work very hard because it's gonna get tougher and tougher. And he's got the quality. I don't doubt his ability, but I don't wanna put that pressure on him. I want him to concentrate one game at a time. That's key.
Okay, so we are in Soweto. We definitely have to give Soweto TV an opportunity.
Thank you so much. Coach, my name is Lindo. So now that you'll be playing at Orlando Stadium, now I want to know, are you happy with the quality of the pitch and everything that goes with it? And the other question is, we know that it's not Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates game. What are your expectations of the fans in terms of the outcome come the game on Saturday?
Oh, well, coming to Orlando, we're very happy, to come and play here. I haven't seen the pitch at the moment in terms of, the playing surface, but it's always in good condition whenever we come and play here. So I hope it will be the same condition as well. And in terms of the support, we will have our supporters coming from, Victoria, and they are also the neutrals, So we just hope that we'll play good football with both two teams that will be able to entertain the crowd, and I think that's very key. And I think so far we've done that. Both teams have done that, and the supporters will be, willing to come and watch us play.
Okay, Fanny?
No, I'm covered.
Are you covered? Okay. Then in that case, Tsepo, you have
Thanks,
second
Finally.
bite.
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, in the PSL era, you have won the MTN8 as a player, and if you win on Saturday, you are going to be winning it as a coach, and maybe probably the only one in the PSL era. I mean, does that play in your mind, all the historics around this MTN8 final?
Not really. I think I'll be able to think about that, probably after the game. I think for now, I'm trying to focus on the team, and because it's not about me. There are a lot of people who work behind the scenes, in the club. I don't think the success of the club can be left entirely up to me. We work as a family. We've got different people, contributing differently, to the success of the club, and I think that's the focus for us. If you look at now, we've got Coltrane, I've got Luca, and there's Brian, there's Gloria, and there are a lot of people who put in a lot of, effort, a lot of work, behind the scenes, and I think for me, that's my focus. It's about the club.
All right, I think it's Komulimo just behind you. We'll give you the last question.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Caetano, Highlands Park, I don't think they've conceded in this year's tournament. They have a tight defense. What is your plan? What plan have you drawn up, to break down their defense, which hasn't leaked a goal so far? And can you take us back to that moment when you missed out on the cup last year? Just how painful was it for you? How did you deal with that?
Well, I think Highlands Park, they're a very solid team. They work very well together. As a team, like I said earlier on, they've got a very good work ethic. I think we'll need, to work a little bit more in terms of our movements, to try and penetrate. I think we've got the quality to try and, break any defense. But we will work. We've got a strategy trying to, to break that, solid defense. And we hope it works on Saturday. And the second question.
Last year's final.
Oh yeah. It was very painful. I think losing it on penalties, it was very painful. But to be honest, in the 90 minutes and extra time, I think Cape Town City were the better team, in terms of the overall play. We have snatched it, probably in the penalties, but it could have been really sad, for Cape Town City, because I thought they were a better team. They deserve to win it.
All right, Mahlatsi.
Coach, a lot of people are only seeing the finished article now with you as a coach. I don't think they know the amount of work and sort of sacrifices you have done at the junior structures at SuperSport, working your way up. Genuinely, from the bottom of your heart, what will winning this cup really mean to you? Because you are one of the up-and-coming young coaches in the country.
Well, I think winning, this, cup to mean a lot, to me, and at the same time as well to where I come from. Like you mentioned, I've gone through the development from under 17, under 19, the reserve team, assistant coach. And I think it also gives motivation to the coaches who are working at development level, because it's not easy to get opportunities. It's the same thing with the players. That's why I'm always trying to give, youngsters that hope that if you work hard, we will get an opportunity to play for the first team. And I think that it will mean a lot, to me, if I can be able to show the coaches at development level that if you work hard, you have an opportunity. The players as well at development level, that if you work hard, you will get an opportunity to play.